For now, we are turning to Pakistan, where the crisis persists and the drama continues. A breakthrough was expected today. The Supreme Court was going to give a verdict. It was going to decide whether Pakistan should go to polls. But the matter has been adjourned yet again, so the country is back to where it was, in the grip of political uncertainty. And amid this meltdown, the role of the Pakistan army is becoming more and more prominent. It is now amply clear that the army is indeed the puppeteer of this chaos. If there was any doubt about this, the Army Chief General Bajwa cleared all of them. He spoke at the Pakistan National Security Council on Saturday. We told you about this yesterday too. He wanted closer ties with the US and he condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And this is the opposite of what Imran Khan wanted, what he's been saying. He wanted Pakistan to have an independent foreign policy just like India. Well, the army did not. And in Pakistan, the army decides foreign policy. How does that work? The answer to that question lies in history. 1947, the partition of India, the inception of Pakistan, it divided not just the people but also the army, the British Indian Army. Back then, 3/4 of the army had officers from Punjab and the northwest frontier province. Half of all senior officers came from Punjab. In other words, the army was cohesive and narrowly recruited. After partition, India fixed the ethnic imbalance. Pakistan fostered it, so much so that today nearly 90% of the officers in the Pakistan army are from Punjab and the northwest frontier provinces. Their army became more centralized, a close-knit institution of generals from the same background, the same ethnicity and the same tribes. They believed in a quote-unquote martial race, a race they thought was superior from the rest of the Pakistanis. And these generals refused to be subservient to the civilian government. Plus, there were strategic compulsions that made the army powerful. A Cold War was on by the time Pakistan was formed. The US and the UK backed the Pakistan army. They gave them weapons to counter Soviet influence. Interestingly, Pakistan Army's first commander-in-chief was a British officer, General Sir Frank Walter Messervy. He served as the army chief till 1951. Even Pakistan's intelligence agency, the notorious ISI, was a brainchild of the British. It was formed by Major General Sir Robert Cotham, a British officer who at that time was serving as the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Pakistan Army. Now, this geostrategic arrangement served the West in several ways. All espionage of the Soviets was done from Pakistan. The relationship with China was built on Pakistani bases. The Russian invasion of Afghanistan was defeated with Pakistan's help. Even America's war on terror was launched through Pakistan. In other words, the Pakistan army over the decades has always been a stooge of the Western world. It's been their most important security cog in South Asia. Domestically, this has caused a lot of trouble for the civilian leadership. The generals became more powerful, they began controlling the system, they began dictating policy in security, defense and external affairs. And every time a civilian leader challenged their control, the army staged a coup. We have multiple examples. 1958, Pakistan's Prime Minister Sir Feroz Khan Noon was deposed, overthrown in a coup by Army Chief General Ayub Khan. Why? Because he tried to bring constitutional changes in Pakistan and curtail the army's powers. 1977, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was deposed in another coup. This one was led by General Zia-ul Haq. Same reason, Bhutto's interference in the military's affairs. He had removed 2 military chiefs after Pakistan's loss in the 1971 war. The army took revenge 6 years later. 1997, Nawaz Sharif repeated the same mistake. He relieved General Jahangir Karamat from the chairmanship of Joint Chiefs. 1 year later, General Pervez Musharraf repaid the insult by toppling Nawaz Sharif from power. Around the same time, Imran Khan, who had just entered politics, was also slamming the army. He blamed the generals for ruining democracy in Pakistan. I must play out this for you. Listen to what he said back then.
बॉर्डर वाकई डीपोलिटिसाइज हो गया. एक इसकी बहुत बड़ी वजह पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने मायूस किया. दूसरी उसकी बहुत बड़ी वजह पाकिस्तान की फौज है. बार बार जब जनरल्स पावर में आते हैं तो वो भी एक वोटर को इसलिए मायूस कर देते हैं कि जनरल्स फिर नेचुरल लीडरशिप नहीं आने देते. वो फिर अपने पुतलों को सामने लेके आते हैं. नेचुरल लीडरशिप से क्या मुराद है? नेचुरल लीडरशिप तो लोग ऊपर लेके आते हैं ना, जो लोगों का नेचुरल लीडर है. फौज एक मैन्युफैक्चर करती है लीडरशिप, जान के लेके उस इंसान को आते हैं जिसको वो कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. अब कंट्रोल किसको कर सकते हैं? या वो करप्ट होता है या उसके करप्शन की फाइल होगी, उसको कंट्रोल करेंगे, और या फिर एक नाहला आदमी होगा जिसकी कोई स्टैंडिंग ही नहीं होगी.
20 years later, the same Imran Khan came to power thanks to the army. He sang their praises, he defended their actions against previous regimes. He was playing the pliable prime minister all along. In 2019, an Economist report said this. They said the military will continue to shape Pakistan's security and foreign policy and that the Imran Khan government would be largely amenable to this agreement. And this report was based on intelligence and inputs from US security officials. Clearly, the assessments were wrong. Imran Khan challenged the army and the army retaliated. Only this time, it did not stage a coup. The army has grown smarter. It is playing the opposition in what's being called a sophisticated soft coup.